much more shaky. And that's the thing. It's setting up that Neon to still do it. Now, OpTic are going to be kicking things off on the attack, so you can almost expect them to try and blitz into the sites.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing right away, attempting to split in towards the A site. Victor was quick, but now the shift key's being hit, trying to sneak his way over the wall, giving them space. The fight in middle not going their way, and Team Liquid, they're coming ahead in almost all of the duels. Victor, though, has he managed to thread the needle? It looks like they're aware of a mid push. But do they expect him to already be here, wrapped around behind them, coming from the bridge? Oh, he's being caught off guard. That angle for Navarra, not expected. So one man is left with a pistol round in his hands. It's FNS. He hasn't even got the spike to play with, though.
Yeah, this is worrying. One thing you can say so far about this Team Liquid side this tournament, yeah, they made it through to the playoffs. I think they have the worst pistol record in the entirety of the tournament. Like, you look at that first game versus Leviathan, they managed none of them. I think they only managed a couple of the 6 that came through in the PaperX game, to already getting off to a flying start here, and an aggressive one at that. They know that their opponent's composition revolves around speed, setting up Victor to really take that space. Well, he did take the space. His whole team were dead by the time he'd done it.
Such a strong initial push, and you have to ask yourself, maybe some of the players that go down initially, that it seems to be the reason for the change of pace, losing some extra utility that must have had a plan. Now, coming into this round, OpTic will need a plan. Only classics to work with. They'll attempt some early aggression, but ultimately, they are at a disadvantage in every fight they walk into.
Yeah, he's almost dead already. Like, he's just been owned within the first, like, 10 seconds of the round. I'm not sure if that was the shock darts that were being fired out, or if he just took a battle early in the round that we missed, but nonetheless, not the greatest look, especially when he's the main danger man. You look at the rest of the investments, there's basically nothing here on the side of OpTic. They are keeping it as basically as cheap as they possibly can. Yeah, the benefit of having Ye in those early fights, the headhunter range can obviously help out, but now at 24 HP, he doesn't have a range advantage against anyone. One shot left in the headhunter as they move to the site. The nade catches Victor, and Team Liquid concede no space. I'll give no quarter to OpTic to start this out. It's an absolute slaughter. The question is, can OpTic find any damage? Can they make it costly? The man they're fighting is a ghost, so they need to look elsewhere to drop some weapons if it's going to have any impact on the next round. And by the looks of it, Tom, there is nothing that OpTic can do. Team Liquid 2-0 with a Prime Gaming flawless. I think it is really interesting as well, though, to bring the crowd into this, is that OpTic have played on an international stage before where there is a crowd from EMEA. But we were in Copenhagen. Other than Fnatic, the crowd really wasn't that biased. They weren't that favored towards either team. In fact, there were a load of Ye fans sat at the back who were screaming louder than anyone. Oh, yeah. This time around, they get one kill on the Liquid side and the crowd loses their mind. So I think that's going to be something hard to play against, but I agree with the desk. If they can be silenced, if Liquid fall a little bit short, maybe OpTic can steal this one away. Well, this time they come in with the rifle, so risks are taken! Oh my! Yuppie! He connects barely anything. Damage done, sure, but that could have been a phenomenal start to the map. Instead, OpTic get a chance to recover. Yeah, he's left down to the Marshal now. Not a whole lot to play with for the remainder of this round, because those headhunter bullets are gone. The position of Navarra, though, is interesting. He's got such deep control on B. They've actually been able to stack up somewhat towards this A site, although it seems like the read might be a little bit off, and Ye, well, a man who's been superb, the top performer in this tournament so far, is going to get the first. Good answer back by Screen. They've spotted FNS. That'd be a big scalp to take, a Viper wall down, but no, he will survive and instead delete Navarra on the other side, with Yumpy having the chance for an opening duel, first blood in the round instead. OpTic now have the advantage well and truly in their court. The spike planted, and they will hold back in their post plants. The defuse being tapped baits them into a swing, but the duels are theirs, and the round is 2. Yeah, clean enough. I think that's the way we'll put it, especially with Scream having a rifle in this round. There was some real danger, and especially with the aggression off of Yumpy. I think Liquid are already showing that they're very much willing to try and get up in the face of their opponents, try and get off to that solid early start. Now look at that stat down the bottom. Undefeated on Breeze, our Team Liquid. Stage 2, LCQ, and Champions. It's been a strong map for them, and we've discussed this over on the desk. You know, there's ways to see this in both directions. But if OpTic take this map, Team Liquid are in hot water coming onto Bind. This is definitely where they want to start strong, and we've seen their bonus round, a little bit of damage.
this is where things are really decided, though.
Yeah, an operator already for Yumpy. And look at where Screamer's already pushed. He is all the way down mid, spawning so deep within the round. The same can be said for Yumpy. So they're getting so much early information. Look at this full rotation. 3 players already on the A site once again, and they're throwing in utility just to try and slow them down.
And Yumpy has a great teleport to bring him back. I mean, currently catching any sort of lurks that could go into play, but if he needs to leave, if they desperately need some help on that A site, he can be there pretty quickly. It looks like OpTic will be committing to this late, except 3 players now starting to shift back towards the spawn. And they didn't make any ground up, but with 55 seconds left, they have to clear so much of the map on the way back. And I think they're hoping that at some point, Team Liquid have pushed up and given them a duel that they can take.
Well, the danger as well is you have to bear in mind that on the other side of things, Navira still has pretty much all of his utility. He can throw those snake bites down, so the later you run in, the more vulnerable you're going to be going through. He's just placed the fires, and Yumpy's just lined him up with a double! That couldn't have gone any worse. 30 seconds left for OpTic to try and find a way back in.
He waited to catch the lurk for so long. The patience pays off. OpTic on their buy round here in a bit of hot water. 20 seconds on the clock. Spikes down in spawn, and they've got to save. There's no chance for them to get anywhere near a site. One shot, and that destroys and dismantles OpTic's plans.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to throw in a faster round in the next, because what Team Liquid are currently doing, they're taking a lot of early map control. They're using the utility of their initiators to consistently get them information, but also because they're finding that info early, you had Yumpy all the way deep in towards elbow. You had Scream still close A. They didn't push any of those players back. They didn't clear any of the positions, and because of that, they didn't use any utility. So you still had both snake bites with 30 seconds left. You can't allow that to happen, and I think that FNS or Finesse is someone who's going to adapt very quickly into this game.
Absolutely. Well, he will need to. 3-1 down. As we said, OpTic want to come out swinging on this attack side, and already they've been stalled. Still some credits in the bank with that save, so they can buy up right here and now. It looks like we're going to have a push from both teams in towards middle. Right up in their face! Victor's got one! The trade, though! It doesn't come through! Navira is able to capitalize on another, and OpTic again run head first into a brick wall. They've got to pump the brakes. And with a minute 20 on the clock, they've got the man disadvantage, plenty of time still to work with. But they need to make some sort of an advantage come from that early duel.
But that's the thing, Liquid's reads so far have been fantastic. They had 3 players stacked up at the beginning of the round, waiting for a fast-paced push. Marv, though, he might be able to turn things here. It's patient, and actually Demasic, even with the Guardian, is going to land the headshot. The remaining 2 doubling back in towards that B site. The trap will likely give away the information, while then, Yumpy is alone.
He's got that op in hand, though. It's won the round with a single shot already, one fired off. A target not found, and he rightly disengages. Indeed, I think through the wall, perhaps. Either way, though, they concede the plan. A wise choice. He doesn't want to give his life for a little bit of extra damage and maybe give an operator over to them. FNS, though, he goes for his own little bit of control, finding his first. But that's where it ends. The clutch for Crashies, the 1v3. And the time really not on his side. There's still plenty left for Liquid to play with.
He needs to isolate a duel, and he needs to do. He's heard the initial steps. Nice shot on the first. A chance to isolate. Another is going to be the second, but he jumps up, and Yumpy just about fast enough. I think any other player, and he might have missed that shot, and it could have been all over. Crashies in clutch situations, ever dangerous, and Liquid from a commanding position, scrape through the round.
But it's enough, Tom. All they needed was the round win. Clean or dirty, it didn't matter. Love the target selection from this man, the jump peek for the information.
Oh, that's so nasty.
Let's go! Come on!
As said, 9 out of 10 players, 99 out of 100, they're not hitting that shot. Nope. And the second you shoot, by the way, he swings and kills you. Like, you don't, well, actually, maybe Yumpy headhunters. Yeah. Anybody else, they swing and kill him.
Exactly. 4-1, and this is where we start to see the fallout from that previous round. OpTic came so close, but they didn't get the reward, and now pistols in play, light weapons. They'll pace it up to the side.
Never mind.
Is ready.
Never mind.
He caught them last time in the double doors. He was the one to take the bullets from Victor. This time he returns to sender, with OpTic losing their main man to entry. There's a little wall bang through the smoke, I'll take it.
But the thing as well, this is always the problem with running a Neon comp. The follow-up is normally quite far behind. It's something that I also think Fnatic had troubles with. It was just that Alfio was getting double entries every single time. Like, that's not something that's repeatable. And as of right now, there was nobody able to get into the site quick enough behind Victor. Now, bear in mind as well, he was the only person with a gun.
Oh, wow, look at that for Solkis. Well handled, the pistol now taken down as Finesse won't even get near a rifle in this round. Last man alive, he had 5 bullets to start this, now 4 in the chamber. And it's the chamber of the other side to close it. Only 2 losses for Team Liquid, a 5-1 start on the defense. Scream's waiting on B in the previous round for them even.
Well, look at Yumpy now. Look at where he's going. Deep B control, already taken. The knife going to clear a little bit further. He can just go walkabouts. Look how confident Team Liquid are in this space taking. And while the build-up begins on the other side of the map, he can lock down all the way in towards the spawn. This is already such a terrifying prospect for OpTic, who don't know how much ground they've lost.
Yeah, this is tough. You still have Scream waiting around here to watch for the mid push. It means Doors is maybe a little bit weakened, but OpTic don't know this. They don't know that that's the lighter part of the map, that mid is where the space is free to be taken.
I think that drone might have actually seen 3 people. That was so much information garnered on the side of OpTic. It's whether or not they can actually capitalize off it. Yay with that tour de force ready and waiting, but a 4th player has already rotated in just because of Yumpy's position.
Yay was waiting. And now that wall goes up and it's blocking him out. Time wasting away. Victor needs to make a move, and as he does, he's going to be so vulnerable. Scream with the first. They reset to the back of sight. Hunter's Fury looking for them, trying to take them down, but it's canceled out. There's nothing to be seen here for OpTic. No advantages to be gained. Scream, he'll go down in the ult and be caught by Marv. But a 4v2, Crashies on 10 HP. It seems impossible for OpTic. They need a hero. Crashies does well to find the first, but Marv has to find a way out.
Oh, okay.
The Rolling Thunder comes in, the swing, and Crashies has 3. The spike can be retrieved, and the round might still be up for grabs.
Oh, he's got the timing right, lands the first shot. Last player incredibly low. It's on to Crashies again. He should get the little bit of information, knowing exactly where his opponent will be. But can he finish off the round? He started. No, he cannot. Once again, an incredible attempt from Crashies, but Yumpy puts him down.
They can keep throwing themselves at these sites. They make the rounds competitive, but at the end of the day, nothing to show for it on the side of OpTic. They had the one round that they should have won on paper, but
Crashies is in form right now, and that's probably the worrying thing for OpTic, is there's a couple of rounds he could have won for them solo. Where are the rest of the team? Like, Ye has been, as said, the best player in the tournament so far.
By far.
We've had barely any impact from him just yet. Now, I'm never going to sit here and say I don't believe that he will turn it around, but it has to happen fairly soon.
I believe it was Run It Back showed us a stat, which was kills per round by weapon, and Ye with the operator was just leagues above everybody. Now he's got that rifle to play with this time around, the scope ready to be used. But he still needs to find a victim, and with his tour de force last round, he couldn't before it got taken away from him.
I will say, I think 2nd place was Yumpy.
You might be right.
So it's definitely a battle of the operator players. Yeah, this buy's a bit stinky, but with a Viper's Pit, you've also got the overdrive being brought through from Victor, so there is still a lot of potential in this round. Again, though, looking at Scream, actually, there you go. Ye has managed to find the space, and now they go into the B site, and it's actually just going to be the trade out. It's on to Yumpy again.
Scream was stunned up, gunned up, taken down. Yumpy's got to leave. The site is theirs. OpTic come in with disadvantages, but with this Viper's Pit coming into play, the round may just be favored to them. In fact, I think it quite clearly is. Team Liquid committed their own pit on the A site, and what a mistake that now appears to be. Such a tough spot to fight back into, and that's exactly why even the weakest of weapons becomes so strong inside this pit. They're starting to carve a way back in, but the Viper's still to be dealt with. Finesse tucked in the corner with a stinger. He hopes they'll be decayed by the time a fight comes through. Oh, and they've got it! That is disgusting! Absolutely no right to take this round, and for OpTic, that has got to be devastating!
He moved him with the snakebite. That was what Navira did. He fired it in, and Finesse made the right play, but he just spams the spot in front of where he put the snakebite, and then just owns Ye on the way back through. That is a round that shouldn't have even been particularly close after they got into that after plant. But Soulcast, top of the board right now, 10-4, having a fantastic game.
You can see it in their faces, Tom. OpTic, that was not a round they should have won coming in. They had weaker weapons.
Yeah,
they can write it off, whatever, but that was a winnable position. That was a hard-to-lose position, and they lost it to spams in smoke, spams through walls. Demotivating, but they won't let it get to them. Up on mid, and hold on! He's still fighting! Yuppie's down! He's gone! The opening duel for Victor, the space claim. This is what we've been missing for OpTic. Now they've got the rifles, but look at the counter push. Team Liquid are up through mid. Screams, whiffed, and FNS, he punishes. They're ahead, and they're keeping their lead for a moment.
Mere
and
moments.
then Dimasic comes through with one, with two. Not again, OpTic. Not like this.
Well, that's the thing. Ye has at least turned it back into a comprehensible position. The problem is where the spots are of their opponents. One down the back of mid. Timing for Devere is not bad. He's going to peek out, and Soulcast gets the other one. And it seems like there is no round at the moment that OpTic can win. Even if they put themselves into huge advantages, they catch the aggression. There's just more of it and more of it. And Liquid is steamrolling them.
OpTic have got to be feeling shut down. Coming out of this replay, you'll see the timeout graphic pop up on your screen. And I don't think anybody's going to be surprised with that. OpTic, I don't know if they'd call this a cringe comp, but I'm sure they were loud and clear, and I imagine the bass from the crowd alone can be felt by OpTic every time these devastating round losses come through. They hear their opponents, they hear the crowd celebrating their loss. 7 behind coming into round number 10. An unprecedented scoreline. Here's an opening without even needing to see him. Crashy's on one, clearing some space for his teammates. They know no one's on stairs now. They've destroyed the trap. As good a start as you could wish for if you're OpTic. And then Finesse goes down.
Okay, the trade back from Ye, it gives them so much space. In fact, it's opened up the B site for business. There's only one defender at this point now. Dimasic hasn't really been around this spot. In most rounds, he's been playing towards mid, and Scream hasn't caught the timing. I don't know if they'll check this, and well, it's a little bit whiffy. The trade, though, from Crashies is going to give them another position, and they're actually planting away from the rest of the team. They're almost hoping the rotations come through in another direction, but it does give them a very good plant towards the spawn. And you can see from Scream's perspective, it's like, okay, chances are they're going to be planting elsewhere. He's not spotted anyone.
At this point, you're 100% certain this is a back plant. They're coming up and seeing it now, and OpTic, the positions alone seem to be enough to close this round, but I've made that mistake before. 1 kill already, but time is ticking. You can hear that spike taken away. It's a 2v1 with Ye to clutch, and he'll get nothing done.
How? How are they making it look so easy, Mitch? How are they making it look so easy? That was a 2 versus 3. I don't even think they took any damage.
It's funny to be in this position, Tom, where I'm almost not surprised. It's the story of the map. OpTic keep on carving out these beautiful spots. It looks untouchable. And then
he just jumped again.
This.
Stop. Crashy, stop jumping.
This. And this. It's just insane. The time was even against them. Running the clock down would have won the round. But they peaked one after another. I don't even know what you tell yourself at this point. You don't have a pause to get Chet back in there to
I know what you tell yourself.
DRX.
Bind is next. That's what you tell yourself, because Breeze is looking really rough. Victor, though, again, he's got the opener. Even with a Spectre, he's managed to do so much. You're going to see the counter ult come through. That Hunter's Fury, but it's garnered nothing. Again, space has been made towards this B side. They're pulling rotations in almost every single round. Vera, though, he's found the perfect timing, but he doesn't hit the shots. B side open for business once again. A plant as free as can be. And surely, Mitch.
Oh, no, don't.
Surely they convert this one.
Don't be... Look, somehow I'm like 90% sure Liquid win this round. But it does look, on paper, this is NA's, this is OpTic's second, finally found. I don't think anybody's going to be jumping up to see where they are this time around. But the thing for Team Liquid, you know, there's no way they're going to save at this point. They have more than enough money going in here to see if they can steal another one away. And that duel starts it out well with Crashy's gone. But Ye is still here, still dueling.
Time as well.
And
The
now,
main thing is the time.
You can't get rid of 3 players, excuse me, this quickly.
Oh, you'd hope not. Soulcast at least making things a little bit more costly and just looking to try and find this through. The headshots connected again! And he's going to clear them all out. The time way too far gone at least, but again, there seems to be no clean and easy rounds for OpTic. A second on the board though. They're looking for the curse. That's about all they can be hopeful for going into that second half. And as said, like we were expecting a lot from them on the attack, but this has been Soulcast all the way through this game. 15-5.
I think this is from Team Liquid right away. I see Yumpy up close. I see him going in with an operator in hand, looking for a duel, and on the other side, Ye was contemplating the peak. Is Tour de Force ready? He's been spotted moving up. There's Ye's response, though. He was ready to trade it right off the bat. They were hoping for a push, maybe a little caught off by how aggressive it was. But now they might just get themselves to sight.
Yeah, they can get around the utility, but the counter flash actually does deny them just long enough. Soulcast looking to try and spam through, but he goes down because of it. Ye looking like he might have finally come online in this matchup, and every peak is punish. It has taken a long time for OpTic to get into the rhythm of things, even losing rounds from such advantages, but this one is looking strong.
At long last, we're starting to see the OpTic we expected today, but
oh, he's missed
that
him.
position is fantastic for Victor. Absolutely fantastic. This round surely already closed out. Scream faced with a 1v4. His ult online after that kill at least. But even then, use that ult, you don't have time to defuse.
Exactly. and just look at where Victor currently is. Like, he's so far in the back lines that there is absolutely no shot that Scream gets away with anything here. As said, it took a very long time for OpTic to finally grind out a couple of rounds. They had their opportunities, they had their chances, but there is one curse I'm believing in, and that's that GB finally believing in NA, doing his crazy speech, and then we get this. I think that's the biggest curse I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, look, can we blame this on OpTic's game plan, their execution, or here, this is miserable. They've stumbled through the first half, they've looked shaky. Victor's on his way. He's through.
Oh, they're stacked. Oh, he actually gets 2 kills from that. That's absurd. And the peek back through, they've pinched them completely. It doesn't look like the pistol record of Liquid is about to get any better. Left all onto Soulcast. He's been sublime, but he would need much more than just his individual skill to take that one home. A 4th round, a lifeline for OpTic, and I would also like to agree with what Bern said. I think you're looking at the fact OpTic are a team, one of the most experienced IGLs we have in the entirety of Valorant right now.
Yep.
They also have an incredibly experienced coach. So I do think there are aspects that Liquid have to try not to let this one slip away from them. They are a team that sometimes it pays for them to overdo it and over-aggress and just try and close out the game quickly, because sometimes that's enough to pump their players up. But it also has the counterpoint to let teams back into the game. So they just have to be a little bit careful here that they don't overdo it.
Now, look, I don't want to say the wind is an OpTic sail after a pistol. It's more of a gentle breeze right now.
Yeah, you know, the sail's at least up now.
Yeah, they've, well, down. If it's up, you're not going to catch any wind with it. I played Sea of Thieves, Tom, like I told you on that boat.
Sorry.
I know how it works.
I didn't realize we had a sailing expert alongside.
Well, you should have after our fantastic trip around Copenhagen.
Yeah, we only
didn't die.
A couple of times.
We didn't die, and we didn't sink, and that's all that matters. Tell you what, though, can't say the same for Yumpy. He's dead right at the start of this round. The Marshall for Ye putting in some work right off the bat, and I think Scopes on this man defensive side, that if anything's going to pull OpTic out of it, it's him.
That's the thing. I think compositionally, it looked better for the attack, setting up Victor. He's going to be a demon when it comes to the defense. So you'll have a whole different set of problems coming through for Team Liquid to try and deal with. Now, in the early stages of this round, they've looked to try and farm up some extra ults onto Scream. Of course, that is going to be a big part of this attacking side. Try and get that run it back online as much as possible. Then he can just take absurd level risks. In this round, though, you're looking at Soulcast. Can he do any level of damage? And Mondavera's actually got one with the Classic.
Fantastic start. They know exactly where Finesse is. Dealing with him's another story. He's got the shields to work with, and the walled up was blocking out his opponent. But Marshall presents some danger. These players need to be careful, but with 10 seconds left, Soulcast needs to die. He's going to go running in, sprinting. Ye will be forced to drop the weapon, leaving him with a bit of cash for the next round at least. Team Liquid 9-5 as they pull out a bye round. This is where OpTic face their biggest challenge yet.
Yeah, and this is where I want to see what the plan really is on the defensive side. Like, are they going to try and, again, put more into the setups between Marv and Victor? I feel like Marv in this sort of role, I think it's the trouble we have for them on both this map and on Icebox, is that you don't really have the conventional smoker, so he doesn't really have those better performances. He needs to be setting up players like Victor to try and do some damage, and in the early stages of the round, it does look like they're both watching in towards Cave. Look at Finesse.
Yeah, we're going for a little bit of aggression here. And it's a great bait. I mean, we saw this, the breakdown earlier on Pearl. A round relied on very much the same thing, where Finesse was just tucked in a corner while the rest of his teammates were baiting out for him. Victor tagged up in his corner. Okay. He, though, delivers with the headhunter, and now their sights will be set on this man. Oh, they've spotted Scream. He was a second away from sneaking behind and ripping this round apart, separating OpTic. But instead, Finesse might just get the reward he's been waiting for. Trigger discipline, not quite there. You can understand why, but he still comes out with a double.
Yeah, that's huge. So much done, and already a tag connected onto Scream. This round is looking incredibly good for OpTic. He gets another one before going down as well. A small amount of health healed up. Victor is low. Still some potential here, but already massive success in this round for OpTic. They just don't want to let it slip away from them.
Yeah, and as they're focused forward, Victor comes behind, claims the frag on Solkas, drops the spike, and leaves a healed up Scream. Of course, he used his hot hands back to 67. That ain't gonna help too much. Rifles on the other side. Marved, the only man with a weaker weapon, and he is playing back indoors, just spotting, just holding control, containing. In the final 10, he will swing through, stop this plant from happening.
10 seconds left.
The round is done. Well handled by OpTic. A beautiful round, and Finesse, the point man of that, the patience.
No, a really nice setup from them. Obviously putting into position Ye to just find some of these crazy shots, but also using him to almost bait for FNS. Like, just have him more passive in a position where he can just catch players off guard. Now, those trap plays definitely going to be more difficult to recreate.
Right back into the rhythm. The question, you know, as the rounds go on, defensive side, this comp can be difficult to deal with, but for now, they're setting their sights one step at a time. They don't want to look too far ahead. This round has a massive amount of advantages for them.
Yeah, I think the main thing here for Liquud is just going to be try and get some ult orbs. Soulcast not far away from the null command. Run it back will be guaranteed as well for the next round, so maybe farming up for the Viper's Pit would be a decent idea. They are also one of the best teams with these pistols, though. So OpTic still have to be a little bit careful. You can see already some early utility being expended just to try and make sure that none of that space is going to be garnered elsewhere. And actually, they're leaving mid very much open just because they can hold it from such passive positions. Now they have the operator.
You also had Navera put down that poison orb right down in mid, stopping anybody from taking that swing out, canceling out an angle. I like that OpTic's adaptation was to concede the control. Give them middle, they still have to take a bunch of ranged fights to get to that site. The thing is, you can't miss. Luckily, it's Ye standing watching mid and up, and he should be able to help out on the speed push.
But that's the thing as well, Crash users, other than when he's jumped, he's been very, very good. And actually, that dart has missed. That's a pretty big problem. They've still taken quite a bit of space. Ye is going to be able to connect. Bear in mind, he can't escape at the moment, but maybe he doesn't need to. The trade's through, though. Actually not too bad, and Victor's got to be careful. He's now stuck between two different players. Maybe a little bit of an oversight for him, trying to be the hero. Might end up as the villain.
Oh, one step at a time, I said. Instead, it's one stumble for OpTic. They're back into a 2v2. Demasic on the back of the site, but he is just distracting. He's jumping around. He's trying to make some noise, so Scream could wait. Oh, okay, that wasn't what I thought he was trying to do, but go for it. All right, go off, Demasic. 2 kills with the Sheriff. The run it back not needed, and that guaranteed 7th round, as it seemed to be, is again snatched out of their hands. I mean, OpTic, talk about being mentally boomed. I don't know how they can keep themselves even
this fight from Victor was
in it at this
silly.
point. God, look at,
like, everybody else on the team was just so far away. I think he was trying to catch them off guard and almost get back in while his teammates were fighting. But by the point of them going down, I don't know, just too much of a risk at a time that ended up handing over the
chroma keyed him. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That man has become a part of the game. As Team Liquid use up the Viper's ult, the pit down on A site. We've seen this, sorry, OpTic, excuse me. We saw it from Team Liquid in the previous half, and OpTic's response was to go into the B site quite quickly. Team Liquid seem to have a similar idea, whether it's the Viper spit or not. You have a trap outside of the A site, and the entirety of TL is waiting to blitz onto B. This is a big challenge coming Victor's way, and a round that OpTic so desperately need.
He's only got a single stun remaining as well, so delaying them is not going to be particularly easy. Quick rotation will be available from Crashies. Yay now actually pushing all the way back towards the tube. But I think they've got a bit of a misread on this scenario, and they're going to need him to almost pop off. Already though, I think he actually managed to stun up Scream while using the run it back, so he's actually not going to get much ground whatsoever. Slowed to a halt, but jumping headshots him! Just absurd.
Good response by Crashies. Can he make it out? The spams are coming for him. They can't see, but they'd light him to 76 anyways, and his steps are heard. Navera waiting just around the box, but he turns his back at the wrong moment, and that will cost him his life. A foothold for OpTic, and they're looking for more, but that costs Yay his life. His teammates nowhere nearby to get the trade. The roaming op deleted, and what can OpTic do from here? They can lose one man after another. Finesse, the final hope for OpTic to take this buy round, to avoid their economy going into the dirt, and Team Liquid knocking on victory's door. 11-6, 2 more. And they're looking untouchable on the Team Liquid side.
Yeah, OpTic have had a shaky breeze throughout this tournament map that regionally was pretty strong for them. Even in the previous tournament looked pretty decent, but yeah, I honestly, like, there's been a lot of moments in this game where I just look at what has happened to Victor and I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
that is just unfortunate. They did so well to slow down that ult, and just with the last second he gets domed.
Victor's playing well as well. He's 9-14. Remember, he started as like 1-6, and every duel he was just on his own, trying to create space, getting shut down, getting countered. Push up close, Scream ready for this. He'll grab the kill. A flash is ready. The space being contested by OpTic, but no reward for their troubles.
Yeah, financially it's a weird one. Tour de force for Yay makes it look possible. I think that's one of the reasons they've actually invested into this round. And actually they're going to throw out the Rolling Thunder as well. But the Hunter's Fury on the other side is going to make sure that there can be nobody really pushing upon this. It has, however, bought a lot of time for rotation.
That was a scared Rolling Thunder, though. A man sat on site. Spectre in hand. That shock dart did damage. It almost took Solkas down, but he'll survive and go back into the plant. Be easy to take him down with a spam, and he'll get him. At least one kill for the trouble. Still OpTic, man disadvantage. Viper's pit to fight into, but the spike has not yet been planted. They need to get to work on that. 45 on the clock, and the spams from Scream. They find another kill. OpTic on the back foot, and the odds ever increasing in Team Liquid's favor. A big push though, a chance for Finesse, but Scream comes out ahead. 4 kills, his ult almost online, and one last chance for OpTic. 6 rounds in a row, or Team Liquid will be shutting them out of Breeze.
Yeah. It's a map that they look confident on. We looked at the Phoenix comp, and I'll be honest, we weren't particularly impressed with the last time we saw it. Now, Scream is definitely having an incredible game, but I don't think he's necessarily been the focal point. I think Solkas, again, is having one of the best performances we've seen from him, and maybe from anyone throughout this tournament so far, and a few people missing. Marv, someone we mentioned at the beginning of the day, still not really here. Oh, dear.
Being clear from the start. This crowd is on Team Liquid's side.
Wait, look.
And now they get loud. The push up close. Marv is good, and Finesse through the wall. A fantastic trade for OpTic. A recovery on an early stumble, and look at the spot. Yay tucked in, ready for one, TPing out, keeping the advantage into NA's core. That peak from Finesse, though, has come at a heavy cost.
Shock darts might actually be able to do a lot of damage. He's forced him into the open. Yeah, he's surviving on his last legs, and once again, Solkas left in a solid position. He's avoided this Hunter's Fury completely. In fact, he's sneaking up on Yay, who might not have any idea of where he's going to be. The first kill is free, and now Solkas knows where he is, but Crashies this time will be able to close the clutch. Just about clinging to life at 12-7, but there's still plenty more to face off against.
Might seem odd looking at the scoreboard. I think some of their setups are fantastic to get Finesse into positions where he can catch players off guard. I think Yay's been doing well in some of these duels, but Honestly, Crashy seems almost like the focal point for me. He's in so many of these clutch scenarios and delivered or come so close. And I think represents a large number of the rounds on the board for OpTic.
Yeah, and to be honest, if they were closer in this game, it probably would have been from him winning like a 1v2 or something.
Yes.
Look at the pace, though. Straight through.
Joke's over.
And actually, yeah, we're going to get the run it back through mid. Never mind, he's actually changed his mind. He wants to go hunting for Ye instead, forcing him back. The overdrive gets nothing. It can be a cruel mistress at times, and Yumpy already dropping another. Wow. This is looking like the beginning of the end. Just 2 players remaining, Ye and Marv, both on the same side, and already Marv is gone. It's left down to El Diablo, who has managed to find 2. But a 5 HP clutch would be one for the ages. A 1v5 ace needed. He's going to get himself a third already. Tagged up.